Listen closely, because what I am about to say could save your life or destroy everything you believe in. You are being a victim of a silent brainwashing. You've been told that feeling desire for someone else, having inappropriate thoughts, or feeling that forbidden itch is the end of your marriage. That is a lie. This is the biggest hoax ever told, and it acts like an invisible poison, killing your emotional connection and filling you with a rotten guilt that shouldn't exist. The truth is brutal, and it's going to hurt. Feeling an overwhelming attraction for someone outside your marriage is not a sin. The real disaster, the fatal mistake that sends marriages straight into the abyss, is your total inability to distinguish a biological instinct from a conscious choice. You are holding a grenade with the pin pulled out and you don't even know it. The real sin isn't the feeling that invades your mind, but the stupid decision you make milliseconds later. In this video, I'm going to break every taboo and expose the secret that most are afraid to touch. I'm going to show you the bloody difference between being human and being a traitor, and how to use this dangerous energy to create bulletproof alignment with your spouse before you make an irreversible mistake. If you skip this video, you are taking the risk of letting your relationship crumble out of pure naivety. The choice is yours. Discover the liberating truth or keep living in the dark until it's too late. Many couples live as if emotions were a minefield, walking on eggshells so as not to trigger an explosion. But the truth is that they were designed to be a gift. Imagine emotions as the colors of a painting. Without them, emotional connection would just be a black and white sketch, functional but lifeless. It's fascinating to observe that both joy and sadness have the role of drawing us closer to the Creator and to each other, enriching the human experience. When one understands that feeling is not a design error, but a divine feature, the burden of trying to be an unfeeling robot disappears instantly. However, it's common to see people turning their noses up at feelings, being skeptical because they have seen the damage caused by those who let themselves be blindly governed by them. But between us, blaming the emotion for the disaster is like blaming the car for an accident caused by a reckless driver. Marital wisdom lies in not suppressing what is felt, which would be like trying to hold a beach ball underwater, but in acknowledging the existence of that feeling. It is necessary, with intentionality, to look at what arises in the heart without fear, understanding that the emotion is just a messenger knocking at the door. To deal with this practically, an excellent strategy is to expand your emotional vocabulary, moving beyond the basic "I'm fine" or "I'm bad." Studies on emotional intelligence suggest using tools like Robert Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions, which helps to specifically name what is felt, whether it's ecstasy, boredom, serenity, or apprehension. When the couple manages to name the feeling, they take away its mysterious power and shed light on the relationship. Reading classic works or biographies of great leaders, such as those found in Charles Duhigg's The Power of Habit, helps to understand how emotional triggers work in the human mind. By validating each other's emotions, an environment of safety is created, where emotional connection flourishes in a robust and healthy way. It's not about agreeing with everything, but saying, "I see that you feel this, and it's okay to feel it." It's in this fertile soil that alignment between partners happens, as they stop fighting the rain and begin to learn to dance in it. Emotions, whether good or bad in human eyes, are actually invitations to deepen intimacy and divine dependence. Think of emotions as the instrument panel of an airplane. A flashing red light isn't there to panic the pilot, but to indicate that something needs immediate adjustment. Ignoring this light in the name of a false peace is the perfect recipe for a crash landing down the road. Strengthening the bond occurs precisely when the couple decides to look at this panel together and interpret the signals. It's a daily exercise of humility and mindfulness, where every sensation is used as a stepping stone to level up the relationship. It's curious to note that often the fear of feeling comes from a misunderstanding of what responsibility is. Emotions arise without asking permission. They're visceral and automatic, and that's okay. The problem is never the feeling knocking at the door, but whether we invite it in, sit on the couch, and let it dictate the house rules. Marital wisdom teaches us to be efficient gatekeepers of our own souls, selecting what should only be observed and what should be cultivated with care. Now, if emotions are just the messenger and not the problem itself, a question arises that confuses many good people out there and can define the destiny of a marriage. There is a very fine line, almost invisible to the inattentive, where the simple experience of feeling ends and something much more dangerous and decisive begins to happen. It is vital to understand that feeling anger, fear, or even an untimely desire does not instantly transform anyone into a villain. The confusion starts when one doesn't distinguish the emotion, what happens to you, from the action, what you choose to do. Many couples suffer unnecessarily because they judge the fleeting feeling as if it were the consummated act, generating a toxic guilt that corrodes emotional connection. Feeling is not a sin, it's an involuntary human reaction. King David, demonstrating profound marital wisdom and spiritual insight in Psalm 19, specifically asked to be kept from intentional sins. He knew that emotions spring up without prior notice, appearing alone like a summer storm without any premeditation. The real danger doesn't live in the sudden appearance of the feeling, however ugly it may seem, but in the exact moment when the conscious mind decides to embrace it, feed it, and transform it into destructive behavior. Let's get practical. Feeling a sudden urge to scream in a moment of stress is the emotion. Taking a deep breath and responding calmly is intentionality in action. The difference between a healthy marriage and one that lives in a state of war resides in this small interval of time between feeling and acting. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, in his work Man's Search for Meaning, brilliantly teaches that between stimulus and response, there is a sacred space, and it's in this space that our freedom of choice and our power of growth reside. To train this self-control, a good practice for the couple is the stop, look, choose technique. When the emotion comes on strong, stop any physical action immediately, look inside to name the feeling, and only then choose the most constructive reaction. Investing in readings on Stoicism, like the Meditations of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, can greatly help in strengthening the bond, as this philosophy teaches precisely not to be a slave to first impressions and to govern oneself. The alignment of the couple depends on this mutual understanding that no one controls 100% of what they feel, but everyone is 100% responsible for what they do with it. When a partner understands that the other's momentary irritation is not necessarily a personal attack, but an internal reaction, empathy takes the place of severe judgment. It's liberating for both to know that the feeling is fleeting and fluctuating, but the decision to love, respect, and honor the commitment is permanent and solid. True maturity is not the absence of bad feelings, but the wise and deliberate management of them. God designed us to be complex, and this complexity requires us to use reason to filter raw emotion before it turns into action. By doing this, the couple protects the sanctuary of the home, ensuring that thoughtless reactions don't destroy years of building. Marital wisdom resumes to knowing that you can't stop a bird from landing on your head, but you can stop it from building a nest in it. However, there is a specific scenario where this distinction between feeling and acting is tested to the absolute limit and usually causes silent panic. Imagine being happy in the relationship and out of nowhere feeling something strong, a kind of itch for a third person who crosses your path at work or the gym. This kind of situation sets off all internal alarms. But does this mean the end of love? Or does a revealing secret is hiding precisely in this unwanted attraction? Imagine that you are living a happy marriage. Everything is in order, and suddenly that itch strikes for someone who is not your spouse. Calm down, don't panic. This is more common than admitted out loud, and it doesn't mean the end of the world. Marital wisdom warns us that feeling an involuntary attraction does not automatically make anyone a traitor. It only reveals that we are living, reactive beings. It is an annoying situation, sure, but facing it with brutal honesty is infinitely better and safer than sweeping the dirt under the rug, pretending to be a saint. Physical or emotional attraction to others is just a biological or psychological reflex, but what we do with it defines our character and the future of the relationship. This is where intentionality steps onto the field to separate the wheat from the chaff. The feeling arises without warning, but the decision not to feed the fantasy is entirely yours. It's like seeing an appetizing dish in a window when you are on a strict diet. Looking doesn't make you gain weight, but entering the store and eating does. The secret is to surrender this sensation to God immediately, without flirting with danger for even a second. A practical and powerful attitude is to thank God for the capacity to feel, as this shows that your emotional gears are not rusty. Instead of blaming yourself, use this vital energy to ask for wisdom and reignite the flame inside your own home. The emotional connection with your spouse should be the final destination of all this vibrant energy that appeared unexpectedly. Ask the Creator, Lord, help me direct all this enthusiasm to whom it truly matters, transforming external temptation into premium fuel for your marriage. For those who wish to understand how to redirect this focus and reignite passion, it is worth studying the dynamics of long-lasting relationships in depth. Books like The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by John Gottman offer practical, data-based tools to rebuild maps of love and mutual admiration. Try breaking the routine, book a surprise trip, or learn a new skill together, like ballroom dancing. Novelty releases dopamine in favor of strengthening the bond, shielding the couple against external distractions. Treat this attraction to another person like a warning light on the car dashboard. It is warning you that the attention tank of your marriage might be running on reserve. Perhaps you have left the alignment of purposes aside and gone on autopilot, which is a silent poison for any pair. When the home garden is well tended, watered, and blooming, we hardly waste time looking over the neighbor's fence. It is an urgent call to wake up and invest heavily in daily conquest. Investing in good deeds in the relationship works like compound interest. Small gestures of affection, active listening, and sincere compliments yield a fortune in the long run. If the mind has wandered outside, bring it back by force, intentionally focusing on the partner's qualities that may have been forgotten in the rush of everyday life. The intentionality of looking at the spouse with eyes of admiration renews the pact made at the altar. Always remember, the grass is greener where you water it, and the water you have must be exclusive to your garden. Therefore, do not waste an emotional crisis or a momentary temptation. Use it as a powerful lever to grow and mature as a couple. By doing this, we transform a potential stumbling block into a firm step to climb even higher in married life. But for this transformation to be complete and safe, we need to understand that emotions serve not only to alert us to earthly dangers or joys. There is a supreme purpose, an internal compass in every feeling that, if followed correctly, leads us to a surprising destination. True emotional connection reaches its peak when we understand that every feeling is, in essence, an invitation to return home. Emotions were not created to be idols we worship, nor monsters we fear, but rather vehicles that transport us into the presence of God. If joy overflows, it is reason for praise. If sadness tightens, it is a call for divine comfort. Realizing that every heartbeat has a right address completely changes the dynamics of the relationship. Seeking his guidance in the midst of the emotional whirlwind is the ultimate proof of marital wisdom. Instead of trying to resolve everything by force or through heated argument, the wise couple runs to the manufacturer's manual before trying to fix the part. It is in the silence of prayer that noisy emotions calm down and find their rightful place. When you stop to consult the Creator, the pressure to have all the answers disappears, giving way to a peace that surpasses understanding. When the couple decides to follow the Lord's instructions, the emotion finally achieves its highest goal, which is not just relief, but transformation. Alignment with the divine will causes even anger or frustration to serve to mold character, rather than destroy the relationship. Emotion ceases to be an end in itself and becomes a means of sanctification. It's like adjusting the sails of a boat. The wind, emotion, may be strong, but the direction, God, is what defines the safe destination. To experience this in practice, intentionality must guide the couple to moments of shared spirituality, going beyond just praying before eating. I strongly recommend reading The Meaning of Marriage by Timothy Keller, which masterfully dissects how the union reflects the divine. Create the habit of reading a psalm together out loud when emotions are running high. This instantly recalibrates the mind and puts problems in the correct perspective. Even negative emotions, when surrendered to God, work in favor of strengthening the bond. Pain shared before the altar generates an intimacy that superficial joy could never produce. Realizing that both are imperfect and in need of divine grace levels the playing field and ends the arrogance of one who thinks they feel right while the other feels wrong. You discover that you are on the same team, fighting the same battle, supported by the same general. Emotions exist ultimately to lead us closer to God, showing that no human being, even the most incredible spouse, can fill our existential void. This revelation takes a huge weight off the partner's back, who ceases to have the impossible obligation of being the source of all happiness. Marital wisdom frees the other to be just human, while God assumes the role of God. This is liberating and removes toxic demands from the relationship. Thus, by allowing feelings to flow towards heaven, the couple discovers that emotional connection becomes unbreakable because it is anchored in eternity. And it is precisely when we understand this divine cycle of emotions that we are ready to face life not as survivors, but as protagonists of a greater story. Now, with all the pieces in place and the heart aligned to the high, the path to fulfillment is open. Now that you have taken this gigantic weight off your shoulders and understood that feeling is not the end of the world, the ball is in your court. Knowledge without practice is just dead weight in the mind. The question remains, will you continue running from your emotions, or will you have the courage to use them as steps to mature? Do you have the necessary intentionality to look into your spouse's eyes today and say, "I choose you," again and again, regardless of what the outside world offers? Don't let this content be just another video you watched to pass the time. Turn this freedom into action. Use that energy that was once guilt to invest heavily in emotional connection inside the home. But beware, mastering your emotions and not falling into temptation is half the battle. There is another area, perhaps the most sacred and vulnerable of all, where most couples, including Christians, are making fatal mistakes without even realizing it. Have you ever stopped to think that even being emotionally faithful, you might be destroying the divine purpose of your union in bed? There is content here on the channel where I reveal exactly where sacred intimacy stops being a gift and becomes a silent problem. If you want to discover if you are making these slips in the heat of the moment that prevent true unity, look for that video that is featured now. It is the vital complement to what we talked about today. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and don't play with what is serious. See you there.